Hello and welcome to Triumph Women Beating the Odds. My name is Okello Sharon Nagenjwa. This week, in the tapestry of life, MILLY Nassolo's story weaves a compelling narrative of triumph over adversity, resilience in the face of uncertainty, and the transformative power of belief. Born to a single mother, MILLY Nassolo experienced a childhood marked by timidity and bullying, compounded by frequent bouts of sickness that disrupted her academic journey. Many predicted a bleak future for her, a prophecy she found herself believing as well, as her early performances were lackluster and her life seemed devoid of hope. However, in her own words, MILLY Nassolo shares an inspiring personal memoir of her journey from a low achiever to a passionate lawyer, a journey tailor-made for those who doubt if tomorrow can be better than today. So here am I, moving around, checking through X, and I'm seeing beautiful pictures of a couple, amazing pictures, and then there you are, kneeling down in your suit. I want to get to that, but first let's have a brief introduction.
Okay, thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah.
My name is MILLY Nassolo Kikomeko.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer by profession. I'm a director at Maisha Holistic Africa Foundation, in charge of women, children, and the legal affairs.
Yeah.
I am a mother, a wife, and well, I'm a pastor as well.
Wow.
Sometimes I forget to say, but yeah, I'm a pastor, and I am very happy to be here with you today.
That's amazing, MILLY.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a particular picture before we get to your book,
Yes.
Losing to Love, and then your journey.
Yes.
Why the kneeling down while taking the picture?
Where I grew up and how I was raised, kneeling down is a sign of honor.
Yeah.
To the superior one, to the elders, and people that you owe a lot of respect. So my husband, according to the Bible and the divine setting, he is my head.
Yeah.
Just like the Christ is the head of the church, my husband is my head.
Yeah.
So I owe him all respect and honor. So one of the ways that I was taught to honor a man actually kneeling is a sign of respect and honor where I was raised. So yes, he deserves it.
Yeah. So I love to kneel down.
Yes.
But I've noticed over time, there are moments when I kneel down and people are looking at it like, what are you doing? So
Yes.
It was so impressive just seeing you in your suit kneeling down. I'm like, that's my girl. But anyway,
Yeah.
let's go to Losing to Love. MILLY, tell me about your journey to this book, to your profession and stuff.
What I would say first is my journey has been a journey of love, sacrifice, and resilience. First, it didn't start with me, but it started with a woman who already had 5 children, but then conceives a child. With all reasons to get rid of the child, she chooses to keep the child, have the child regardless of having been left in a room by herself by the father. So the determination, the love, the sacrifice to carry one more child it starts my journey back to the village. Yes, back to the village now, where she hails from Chichintal Islam. My mother goes back, and I was born in a banana plantation. In the middle of the night, I barely survived at birth, but then by the help of my great-grandmother at that time, a few people around, and thank God for cow milk that was in the homestead where I was born. I grew up. My mother raised me through school, all the hardships, teenage transformations, all the hurdles of looking for people to stand with me and my mother with tuition. I graduated as a lawyer, and I am practicing as a lawyer at the same time. It has been a story of hardships, having to leave this for the other. There's so many times where my mother had to forego so many things so that myself and my other siblings could go through school, could eat, could dress. I mean, it's been a journey of letting go, but then winning at the same time.
So in your book, you mentioned you were sickly as you grew up. Why was that so?
So considering the conditions at birth, it is believed from my mother that because there was not enough to wrap me in, the coldness in the middle of the banana plantation in the wee hours of the night, I must have been exposed to much more than I could take at the age, and that affected my respiratory system. And
so
then I had
asthmatic?
a condition. I don't think it was really asthmatic, but then I had a condition that would not allow me to stay so long in the coldness. So every time the weather could get so tricky, I would end up passing out, and I would spend so many days in the hospital. So that really determined. I think that that's how I was customized at the moment.
So you mentioned in your book that you also went through a lot of bullying and all that. And then do you feel like that experience is the one that has made you today?
Exactly. Well, because I was sick for most of the time. I think I would be home or in the hospital. I say in the book that I would alternate from school, hospital, and then a little bit home, and then back. So the cycle continued. So because of my always absence and the weakness, because of the weather and the low immune system, people started to think I was incapable of anything. And that is how they could bully. Well, there are times where you could raise up the hand in class and say, no, that one is not going to say anything. So even teachers themselves, they would be like, you are not here. What are you going to say anyway? You have nothing to tell us. You don't even get a chance to participate in things which would have been that important for you, because they think, oh, maybe she's going to faint. Maybe that's going to be another episode of her passing out because of sickness. So the bullying, and then the fact that there was a lot of lack and a lot of missing because we didn't have what it takes. The requirements, the school fees, the physical appearances, the uniforms, like literally everything. And you go to a school where some of the kids literally have everything together. They have the mother, they have the father, they have the rich aunties, they have all the grab, the requirements, but then you are also there, and then you don't have all these things. So that really contributed so much to the bullying that at some point, actually, I started believing that I was incapable, because they kept telling me these things.
At what point do you wake up and say, you know what? I am actually capable. I am MILLY Nassolo.
Yes.
I can do this.
I think I cannot even identify the particular time, but every day in my life where I find myself serving a purpose, I realize now this is me doing something. Actually, to be honest, I've never had that point where like, I am it. But every situation that I get to change a person's life, I feel like, okay, this is why I made it. This is why I am here. And this is why I survived.
Did you want to be a lawyer growing up?
Yes, but for a wrong reason. Like I say in the book, I wanted to be a lawyer so I could take my father to jail, because he was not there. It was a lot of hardship, and I can explain it. I can just.
You wanted your father arrested?
Yes, for neglect.
Okay.
So, and the best way I knew is to be a lawyer, because that's what I knew lawyers could do. So yeah, but at a certain point later on, I met him, and he was in a very sorry situation. And I remember going back to the drawing board and feel like, okay, I wanted to be a lawyer, but the reason is, well, baseless. It's not going to happen. The man is sick. How will I get him to jail? So what now am I studying for? So then, but still, because I didn't want to disappoint my mother, I went ahead and did the studying. I did it because I wanted to please him. But then along the way, I meet the reason as to why after all, I became a lawyer. Maisha Holistic Africa Foundation.
Did you grow up bitter?
So much. Yeah, so much. And I wish I wasn't like that, but I'm glad that I am better now.
And how have you been able to overcome the bitterness? Because there are people that grow up bitter and it consumes them. And even as they grow up, get married, have children, the bitterness just continues. Then they become bipolar. They have all sorts of anger issues and all that stuff, and it just affects them.
Yes.
Do you feel like that affected you at some point in your life, or?
Well, at some point as a child, it did. Excuse me, but I think every day of my life, of my adult life, reminds me of the importance of why I went through what I went through. I was sad. I was bitter. I was not okay because my father was not there. But I needed to see it so that I could have a strong ground on which I stand to defend a child whose father is neglecting them. So I think for now, for me, what I was through and why actually I wrote that story is that you can come from without and be everything for someone else.
Wow, that's amazing. So it is very clear in the book that in Milly's book, that we all at some point lose for love.
Yes.
How you want to take the narrative is up to you. Because at the end of the day, we all go through bitter situations. But how do you come out of that bitter situation? How do you use your bitterness to make better, to make good for somebody else out there? And will you dwell in it forever? If you choose to dwell in it, that is wrong. You choose to make yourself better. God knows the purpose as to why you're here today. It's never for yourself, but it is for your neighbor, for your next person. How do we use our situations to make somebody else better? So we'll be back after this short break to give you more of Milly's story and why losing to love exists today. Welcome back from that short break. I'm still Okello Sharon Nagenjwa, and I'm here with Milly Nassolo, a lawyer, an author, and a human rights activist, as she shares her story of how she moved from a without childhood to an everything for someone adulthood. So, Milly, how do you come to the Maisha?
Okay, Maisha is a foundation that we started with my husband when we met at the university.
Oh, you met your husband at the university?
Yes, and that's where we started.
That's when everybody's telling you to end in tears because you're all young.
I know, right?
Yeah. That's so sweet.
So yeah, we had the same ideas. I had the desire to give back because of all the people that had stood with me and my mother. And then he had been through a lot, and he had been helped. So we said, together, what can we do to help the people who are probably in a situation that we were in before? So we started the foundation.
So it's two people who needed love that met and then started this beautiful journey.
To give love.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. So now, while doing one of those campaigns, so I am in a hospital hall, and on the left is a labor ward that is full of mothers, even on the floor. So a woman comes in, and she was in actual labor. So she lies on the floor. I was standing there, lies on the floor. No doctors could touch her because they were busy probably attending to someone else. And she gave birth right in front of me on the floor. And I felt like this maybe is what I came to see here. And what was disheartening is that she didn't even have a single cloth. The doctors could not help her because she had not bought what they call surgical gloves for her to use on her. Unfortunately, we had given out everything we had. So my husband had to run at a pharmacy about 2.5 kilometers away to get surgical gloves so they could come and the doctors could attend to her. It was that emotional, I wouldn't call it bad, but that in that moment I realized I had so much more as a woman to do to help other women than what I thought I could do when I was growing up. The goal was to be a lawyer. The goal was to just bring my father to book. But I think what my degree brought to me and who I was at that moment, I understood that more women and their children needed me. So I'm asking myself every day up to now, I'm asking myself, what if I was not there in that moment? One thing that is special is that today, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, the things that are going to speak for us are not the things we did for ourselves, but the things we did for others. So people like MILLY may never get money to build big things or big cars or ride those things. The kind of successes that we have at the number of people, the hundreds of girls that are in secondary school because we're doing our best. The 20 girls at my house who are always waiting for mommy and daddy to come back so they can know what they're going to eat the next day or pack for school the next day. Or the 500 young babies that are learning at Maisha school for free because we are making that happen. So losing to love is me telling a testimony of not having enough, but being the ray of light for so many people. I don't say I give everything, but I give, at least I give what is needed in the time. So losing to love is a story of sacrifice. What my mother had to give up for her children, but also teaching me how I could also live my life later. I've had to give up so many things for the kind of life I am living. Yes. So
you know, it's very easy for somebody to misinterpret the
title.
The title.
Yes, love.
Yeah,
love is really sacrifice.
Yeah. Because if I'm to think about it in a different woman, who is not thinking sacrifice, who is not thinking
compromise,
who's not thinking about helping, being a support to other people. Now I'm looking at it as a relationship-based title, losing to love. In other words, you meet this person and fall in love with him, and then you lose everything because of that person. You lose your properties, you lose everything because of that person. So I would look at it and say, okay, I've been through so much shit. I have lost properties. I have lost people. This man has taken so much from me. This book is about that.
Yeah, but someone would take it in that context. Well, I wouldn't blame them because perception is, and it's theirs. But then I think for every true love to exist, or good or healthy love to exist, because, okay, love in general, because there's nothing like bad love, there has to be sacrifice. There has to be compromise. There has to be choices that cost us, you know. And for every woman that watches Triumph, you know, we both know there's something that you've had to give up for your children, for your business, you know, for your passion, for your goal. For example, writing the book, I had to lose sleepless nights. I had to go back to places that really hurt. I have to lose relatives because some of the things are not so nice to read for those people, you know. I've lost, even right now, I'm still losing people who thought I would come to my book and say all nice things about them, yet there's not much to say with my story. Not because they're not good people, but my journey with them was not the best. So every day of your life or my life, we end up losing so much. Like, for example, what you do with this show, you should have been doing other things, probably doing other things, but you have to lose time so you could bring, you know, such a show to empower women. So love and sacrifice, you can't take.
Really, I'm going to take that as your last word because that has hit home. Whoa. So I don't know where to find this book, MILLY.
Well, we can, for now, we call numbers. They can email me or inbox me on all my social media handles. All MILLY Nassolo Kikomeko everywhere. But then we can provide numbers in any way so they can call and order. We are trying to get libraries, get the book, and we shall update them.
It's amazing work that you're doing here, MILLY.
We thank God.
And may God continue to bless you. Amen. And may God fill your pocket so that you can keep helping and supporting more and more women and children. Oh,
I'm taking it. Amen. Thank you.
Yeah. So I don't know what your journey has been, but as you've heard MILLY's journey, It might relate to your journey, might relate to mine. And of course, I've picked a lot from MILLY that we need to celebrate today. Tomorrow is not guaranteed, but what you have today is what you can celebrate. And as for me, my personal opinion, my two piece is, I look out for legacy. That what am I leaving to my children? Am I leaving for them finances, which is very important. But the most important thing for me is the people I am leaving behind with them. That every time a child of mine will walk to a place, they will say that Sharon did this, Sharon did this, and that is social capital. The best gift we can all leave our children, the best gift that we can leave behind is social capital, because we are not living forever. Tomorrow, it's the next generation. What are you doing to help the next generation be of support to your loved ones, to your family, and everybody around you? Let's work together to make the world a better place. Don't forget to follow us on our socials at Girl From Oyam and at Triumph Women UJ. Let's meet again next Saturday as we share more inspiring stories.